honored guests, never, never, never give up. You don't have to be perfect in order to be a winner. And go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. These are 3 principles that my mother taught me before she passed away this January 8th. And I'd like to illustrate them with a story. When I was 10 years old, I was a Cub Scout, and we were given a kit. And we had to take this box of items and make something interesting out of it. And some people looked at this box of lumber and dowels and this little silver type of cardboard and egg box containers, and they thought that is going to be a tank. And other people looked at it and said, I'm going to make that into a race car. Well, I took one look at that silver cardboard ring and said, that is going to be my Starship Enterprise. I'm going to go where no Cub Scout has gone before. And so for the next 3 weeks, I was sawing, I was drilling, I was hammering, I was painting, I was sanding, maybe not necessarily in that order. And I had what looked to be a perfect Starship Enterprise, and I had it in the garage, and I put the 3rd coat of paint on it, and it looked perfect. And I went in my room, and I was doing my homework like every good Wiese does. And all of a sudden I heard, uh-oh, my mom's opening the garage door. She's driving her car in. In a state of panic, I threw everything down, went running over to the garage, and there underneath the left front wheel of my mother's car was my broken, destroyed Starship Enterprise. Well, my dad is a perfectionist. And as a neurosurgeon, that's what you hope he would be. He took one look at this broken mess and said, Das ist kaputt. Throw it out. It's no good. It can't be fixed. And if it's not perfect, it's not worthy of the Wiese name. My mother went over and said, well, it's not that bad. I mean, it could be fixed. We can fix it, right, Eric? And by we, I mean you. You can fix it, right, son? And I looked down at this broken mess, and I looked up at her expectant face, and I said, yes, I can. So I went back to sawing and drilling and cutting, and we ended up putting that thing together, and it had 1 coat of paint on it as we took it over to the expedition. And as we got to the exhibit, I brought it out, I put it down there on the table, and actually it didn't look that bad, blemishes and all. It looked pretty good. And then one of my competitors came up and started examining it. And then he ran off and he got a judge. And he brought the judge back. He said, Eric, you're cheating. I said, what do you mean I'm cheating? He said, for these engine nacelles, they're 1 inch by 1 inch by about 12 inches each. We were only given 1, but you have 2. And the judge looked down at me and said, Eric, can you explain this? I said, yes, I can. We were given a 2 inch by 3 inch by 1 foot board, and I cut it in half. And then I sanded it down in order to make these 2 engine parts. And the competitor said, you didn't do that. And I said, you see this blood blister underneath this callus? This says otherwise. And at that, my competitor threw his hands up in the air and ran away. And the judge had to try and stop laughing because, you know, he's supposed to be impartial. So that night, all the judges got together, they took a vote, and wouldn't you know it, my Starship Enterprise won first place. And I got to bring that model home, and the first thing my mother asked when I walked in the door, she said, Eric, can you show me a blue ribbon? And I said, yes, I can. Well, that taught me 2 things. The first is never, never, never give up. And you know, family lore has it that Winston Churchill once overheard us saying that. And borrowed it for himself. And the second thing is, you don't have to be perfect to be a winner. I mean, nobody is perfect in everything all the time, except for my dad, of course. Now, Now the third point I'd like to illustrate is exemplified in this passage, Genesis 1:28. And God blessed them and said, "Go forth and be fruitful and multiply and populate the earth and subdue it and take dominion over every fish in the sea and over every bird that flies through the air and over every living creature that moves upon the earth." Now, my mother wasn't one for quoting scripture, but she sure was one for acting on it. She gave birth to me and 6 others: Katrin, Kirsten, Ingrid, Macon, Hans, and Chris. And evidently I learned her lesson really well because I went off and had 6 children of my own. Jessica, Jared, Mary, Caitlin, Laura, and Reagan. And just in the last 2 weeks, some of you know that my oldest daughter Jessica is now married to Kiefer Harder, and the ultrasound came back, and I've got my first granddaughter that'll be coming in August 10th. This circle of life continues. We are my mother's living legacy. She gave us not only the strength of numbers and the strength of her convictions, and there are a lot of numbers. In our family, there's kids here, children there, children everywhere. So, what 3 lessons can you take from this? Never, never, never give up. Second, you don't have to be perfect to be a winner. And third, go forth, be fruitful, and multiply.
Mr. Eric Wiese. How long have you been in Toastmasters?
120 years.
Oh! We didn't come like that! For your 120 years, then you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
So we can do maybe 5-10 minutes with you right now.
Okay, I'm up there.
Okay, you're up to it? How has Toastmasters made a difference in your life in 120 years?
Well, I didn't learn it all right away. It took a long time. One of the advantages of being in our club is you can go and make a lot of mistakes, and after everyone stops laughing at you, they give you a positive evaluation. And really, they try not to laugh out loud. They pretty much keep it to themselves, which takes a lot of work when I'm speaking. But then they will give you a positive evaluation, and you can pay attention to that and do better, or you can think that you know it better than them and not do better. But over time, I figured out that generally, if I pay attention to what they say, I actually improve. You believe that?
You know, I can believe it so much that now I need to know, after 120 years, what has inspired you through these processing meetings?
Well, I can tell you that I am surrounded by a lot of talent, and I can tell you that the Mount Helix world-famous Toastmasters has a lot of talent. They have some great speakers over there, but I was able to come here tonight and be surrounded by other great speakers, and I'm impressed. So I actually try and pay attention to what they're doing and see if I can learn from them.
One word. I can't give you 120 words because we got to get moving on.
Well,
one word is right.
Exhilarating. You can read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and you can read it 20 times, but putting it in action is what this club is. This experience is all about. You get to practice, you get to see what works and what doesn't, what jokes work, and which ones you have to never use again.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay.